Hey there, welcome to Concept Hunter. Today we're going to be talking about obsolescence, which is quite a bombastic word. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And I was pretty sure I knew what it meant, but I definitely checked online before making a fool of myself. It means the state of being obsolete. So you don't normally hear this because you don't go ahead and say the state of things is obsolescence. You usually say this or that thing is obsolete. Quite an interesting name. It is a game by Connor Oman. It's a bullet hell game, and I really like it. It does a couple of things really good, and I have very small amounts of complaints to say, but mostly I want to say what it does right. And these are a couple of really important things, I feel, because other games would usually do them otherwise. So, let's press play. And we can see that it's on Newgrounds, which is a surprise, because most games that I do aren't on Newgrounds. It's called Obsolescence. We're just going to click and go directly into the game. The music is quite loud, so I will be muting it. Okay, I can press M in order to mute the game. And this is level number 1. It's kind of the tutorial because it tells you arrow keys, you can move around. And you pretty much can't die in this level at all, as there's no projectiles that actually reach your dot or character. Let's just call it your character. So you kind of shoot stuff. They go around from being white all the way to being red and then explode. And you can kind of understand that what you need to do is get to the core and then destroy the core. What happens when you destroy the core? That's one level, that's one boss. You move along and continue to the next level. So, in the first one you can't die. There's nothing to harm you, which is perfectly fine. It's the tutorial just to get you introduced. And there in level number 2, suddenly things actually reach your way and you can actually die. If I get hit here, we can see that my HP actually goes from being white, the edge of the circle, it goes into yellow. If I get hit one more time, it'll become red, and then one more hit and I will die. So I have 3 hit points. When I completely die, one of my lives goes away. I'll actually do it now. One of my lives goes away. We can see that lives from 3 all the way to 2. But notice something that is very different from most games. Actually continued exactly where we left off. I didn't restart the level. I didn't restart the game. I just continued on. I lost one of my lives and moved forward. Most games would have you restart at least the level. And that is just a very strict cause for frustration. There's no real need for it, especially because once you lose all of your lives, and as far as I can tell, there's no way to regain lives. If you lose all of your lives, you will lose the game. It's game over and you'll have to kind of restart the entire game. So it's a very good, very important mechanic that I really wanted to point out. If you die, you actually just keep on going. Now, speaking of just keeping on going, there's a really great sense of progression within each level, which is really cool. We can see that if I actually pause it by pressing P, we can actually see that there's these parts, and these things are just shields. They're there to be destroyed and to prevent the middle from being destroyed. But other things, you can see these 3 different the things that shoot lasers. You can destroy them. Everything that actually shoots out projectiles that does something is destructible. And what this gives the player is in each level, throughout the level, I'm not talking about from level to level, or clearly you get a new boss and it's way harder than the previous one by all kinds of different patterns and lasers and projectiles. Within each level, you actually get a wonderful sense of progression because you destroy parts of the boss and you destroy things that shoot at you, and then they don't shoot at you anymore because you kill them. So you really get a wonderful sense of progression within the level. And I think that's a very important, very, very cool thing that they do here. And there you go, I destroyed it. Now, we're not going to talk about the theme or the name a little bit. We're not going to talk about it. Like, you know, when I finish the level, actually, my character, let's call it, actually goes in the middle, and then you just start over again. If you take a look at the name of the game and you think about it, it might have a deeper meaning, but since it's a very, very surreal, abstract experience, we're just going to talk about the gameplay, not really of, I'd say, the story. And other than that, there's a couple of other things. Really, my only complaint that I have of the game. You know what? Before we talk about my only complaint, I want to note something. I am moving left and right, but notice that as I'm moving left and right, everything kind of moves with me. I stay at the bottom of the screen, but the rotation of everything is alongside me. The boss itself and all of the moving objects, they move on their own rotation. So if I just stand around, they'll move. If I don't move, they do have their own rotation. But I can actually move, and I'm pretty much moving all the way around, but I'm staying at the bottom. So instead of having me move all across the screen, you stay at the bottom of the screen, even though you can affect the rotation of the entire level. Hopefully I passed that idea along properly, because it's kind of hard to articulate. But this is actually really important, because you really want this ability to move around the entire level, but you also want to keep control of your character and know exactly where you are. So I can do that, but I stay at the bottom all the time. And this is really great. You can see now that this level is way easier than it was initially, because I destroyed most of the stuff that shoot at me. So that's the really great sense of progression that I was talking about earlier. So what's my one complaint that I said earlier? The one only complaint, if I'll pause it, you can actually, well, it's kind of fades out a little bit, but you can see that all of these things over here are actually a little bit faded out. And these are, I guess I could call them the corpses or the shadows of things I've already destroyed. So when you blow up something, it goes from being completely white, and then all the way to red, it blows up. You get this nice, it blew up. You see that little particles that it blew up. But then it leaves around a corpse or a shadow, whatever you want to call it. And I really don't like this. It's a very simple reason. This is a bullet hell game. The amount of clutter is immense. And if I destroyed something, I want it gone. I want it completely gone off the screen, because anything that's left on the screen creates more clutter. And there's really no need for it, especially in a bullet hell game where everything's so cluttered I can barely see anything. Most of the time I am focusing my sight right here, but if I'm looking up, I want to know exactly what I'm looking at, and having corpses of things that I've already destroyed is purely a distraction. So you can leave the corpses, but have them fade out over a couple of seconds and then disappear completely, because there's really no reason for them to stick around after the fact. The last thing that I should have mentioned earlier, but I didn't, only now remembering that I wanted to talk about it. In most games, it's nothing that we've never seen before. In most games where you can move around left and right, okay, this is a pretty difficult level, so I'm probably going to die if I keep on talking, and I am going to keep on talking. Notice that it's not only left and right. In most of these games, I want to pause it just one more time. In most of these games where we have rotation, you can only move left and right. And here you can really move up and down. It's not all the way. It is I can only move all the way here and all the way back. But it gives me such a great amount of maneuverability and such a great amount of freedom, especially where I don't actually have to shoot, because I'm just always shooting. There's no reason for me to have a shoot button, and I don't. It just keeps on shooting automatically. Then giving me a little bit more actions that I could do, and allowing for that maneuverability in such an important bullet hell type game is a really, really great thing. And the fact that you add it's rotation, but also moving, and it is free movement. So in that rotation, it is not only left and right, it is also up and down to a point. And I think that's really, really great. It allows for a lot of maneuverability, and it's a lot of fun. And right now, we're in a little bit more advanced levels, and it's really, really, really difficult for me to talk as well as shoot. But I'm going to try and... Okay, there we go. I got hit twice very, very quickly. But now we can actually see, this is a great example of destroying part of the level and then being pretty much almost completely safe, I'd say. I destroyed two of these things that keep shooting. You can actually see the structure of the level pretty well. And then I'm a lot safer than I was before. I'm almost completely safe, and then this level is pretty much done and over with. So far, I haven't actually finished it. I'm probably going to finish it because it's really, really great, and I'm going to keep on playing it. But I can't... Okay, I can't keep playing it while talking because it gets very hectic. As you can see, there's a ton of projectiles and a ton of lasers. It's a really wonderful bullet hell game. I really enjoyed it. It's called Obsolescence, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It is by Connor Ullman, and that's it for Concept Hunter for today. Thank you so much for watching as usual, and I'll see you guys next time.